situation, we tend to want to dive down further and further and further into the bottom of things and define it, as precisely as we can. How do we figure out exactly what it is? What exactly ought to be the meaning of pro-life, for example, right? I'm pro-life. How can you not be pro-life? Anybody here not pro-life? No, you have to be pro-life. But what does it mean to be pro-life? Well, I think maybe, if the mother doesn't want this child, and if she has the child, it will have an absolutely horrible life, and she will be in a horrible situation. Maybe pro-life is not pro that particular fetus. That's one way that people look at what it means to be pro-life. And their complaint is, you guys are all for making sure that the woman has every child that's there, but then once that child's born, you don't care about it. You leave it out in the cold. You don't help her. That's not pro-life. That's the opposite of being pro-life. Well, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to zero in on how we, as Americans, are trying to, define those kinds of things. Notice we don't take the European way out and say, well, being pro-life is both those things. Notice we don't do that. Because we feel like, well, you're either one or the other. Europeans are like, yeah, you're both. And others, besides, enjoy all the possibilities that are open there. Some American followers of Quine are Daniel Dennett, and I've had at least one term paper on him so far because he was on my list, and he's, not only can you see that I'm trying to look like him in some ways.
I think you look better.
Did I give you an A yet? Let me It's not that easy, I'm just joking. And,
I wish it was that easy.
A for Amanda.
Hey, my first name starts with an A, so it should be that easy.
That's
and
pretty
it ends
darn.
with an A, so double whammy.
Well, the real thing is anyone that's close to not getting an A, I'm probably emailing you back and forth saying, hey, I need more of this. Please hurry up. Don't forget next Saturday, this coming Saturday.
No,
Because I will be honest. So if I have test 1, 2, and 3 and your quizzes, no term paper. Where the double HE double hockey stick?
Yeah,
Where is your term paper? Oh, I forgot about that.
Don't worry.
No, that's 25% of the grade. Please.
So
don't
you're
leave
saying I can get a C without doing it?
Well, that's what you would get without
Don't
doing
do
it.
that.
If you have an A and all the other stuff. So.
That's something she would do, though.
And in the current grade climate, by the way, anything less than an A is essentially an F.
This, I'm kind of struggling on this term paper. It's 10 pages. It's about 10 pages.
Theoretically more.
Okay, well,
Theoretically.
One letter on each page?
I got 5 pages, and that's 1,000. Here, let's see right here. My word count.
1,257.
You already memorized? I just showed her. Yeah, my word count. Yeah, 1,257 words is what I got. So I gotta do 5.
Ideally, the term paper should have been started the beginning of the semester when I announced, and this one is 3,000 words. Maybe not. Pick somebody. Dennett. Some folks have picked Dennett. He's very fascinating. If you just look at his list of books, somebody pointed out that I've got the thing on the left here. Yes. Further reading, brainstorms. Here, selected. So these are just some of them. Brainstorms, elbow room. Consciousness Explained. I think that was one of the biggest ones. I was back in 91 talking about consciousness, and he's definitely one of those that thinks of it as a matter of the wetware, the brain itself, and all the neural connections and that in a sense, a macro explanation of the brain. Uh, Darwin's Dangerous Idea was actually the book that really explained Darwin's theory of evolution to me much better than what I had gotten before. Very interesting, and the implications of it very, very easy to read, and very excellent book on that. Kinds of Minds, Brain Children, one that he wrote with Doug Hofstadter, The Mind's Eye. I've mentioned Douglas Hofstadter when I pointed out, remember that one book that he wrote on the nature of the self uses the video camera swirl to give you the sense that I am a strange loop,
Yeah.
Yes. Was one of his books.
Is that really trippy quarters?
Unlike, you've heard the adage, you can't tell a book by its cover? Well, actually, you can.
Do you believe
can.
that?
I think you can, yes. But, and this is totally not appropriate here, but I'll do this anyway because it's funny. Hopefully I will find it. It's really funny. Oh, I don't want ads. I can't think of their name. It's a British comedy group. 2AB.
Okay, we were just talking real quick. I think you can't judge a book by its cover. She said it's kind of a hard example, but the Bible. Because it's either in the color of like a black or brown color, right? She says, yes, of course it. Okay, if you know nothing about the Bible and you just pick it up, you can't judge that book. And say you don't even know what the word Bible means.
You could judge that, it's probably boring.
Okay. But, okay, that's true. But, like, you know what I mean? You can't judge it because you don't really know what's in it, and there's so many topics in. So, I don't know. You can't judge it.
When did they first start numbering things in the Bible?
That? I don't know.
And putting chapters and verse?
When the rise of Christianity happened in the Roman Empire?
Nope. They didn't have an index then. That's an index. An indexical
When Gutenberg
system.
started putting it down?
Pardon? Pages?
When Gutenberg started putting it?
No, before that.
Before that?
Before that.
When was that, though? What year?
The codex, really. It was when they started using a codex. When they had scrolls, it was hopeless,
Yeah.
right? There's no way for you to tell, go to the scroll and go to page 17. No, that doesn't work, right?
It's on one page.
Yeah, so there's a book out there called Index, which is fascinating, by the way. I'm going to have to skip that because I'm not able to think of the two British comedians that talk about that. But if you get a chance, if I figure it out and remember it, which I will, it's a sketch where a guy goes into a library and he wants a particular book, and the librarian looks it up and he says, that's a green book. So it's on the green books shelf. He says, what? Well, where? Because it's all green books, and it's like, it's a green book. So all the books in this library are filed by color of the cover. That's just hilarious. And the whole like 5-minute sketch. The two somethings. I can't think.
Costello?
No. That's a British team that do this. I'll think of it. But so Darwin's Dangerous Idea, freedom evolves. So this is an interesting idea. You know, if you go back far enough, you know, what kinds of freedoms did an individual have? Well, when I was a kid, I couldn't decide, well, let's go and search on Google, because we didn't have Google. Today, you don't have only Google, you have Bing, and you have ChatGPT, and I mean, you have so many different
And that
search
just came
engines
out.
that
ChatGPT
you have more freedom, right? So basically, you see how that works. You know that over time, freedom evolves. There's more and more freedoms evolving as time goes, and that's true not only with regard to things like the internet, what kind of tomato sauce you want, you know, or pizza sauce, right? If you're familiar with the author, I'm not remembering his name either. Malcolm Gladwell. Thank you. That's the one I was searching for. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book about how, you know, you see how that whole progress takes place. Yes.
Do you think there's going to be a point where freedom evolves so much that one person can't relate to another person? Like if there's no upper limit on freedom, theoretically it will evolve to the point where one person's experience will be so entirely different to another person's experience that you are no longer to...
In a matter of speaking, we could already say none of us understand one another.
Fair enough.
Wait, can you
And in
ex-
another way, we could always say, well, but we understand one another well enough. So I would be with the Europeans on that, right? You know how, you know, now, you know, if you go next door to the old man and ask him, would you please stop shooting your AR, whatever the assault rifle was? It's so that we've got an infant that's trying to sleep, you know, and it pisses him off so bad that he decides to go next door and shoot 8 people. Is that how many he shot?
Oh, is this a real thing that happened?
Yeah, when was
Oh,
this?
that's wild.
That's a case of 2 neighbors not understanding one another.
Oh, I just think that first neighbor is, okay. Well, I guess you could look at it in that perspective, but.
Well, they interviewed a bunch of people in that you know, immediate neighborhood, and one said, oh, yeah, you know, shooting at night, normal. Because that's like his favorite thing to do is go out in his yard and shoot, you know.
But then he shot 8 people, including.
They asked him not to shoot anymore, so he went in and he just shot a whole bunch of those people.
How dare they infringe on his rights to shoot?
And the fun thing about all of this is he's still on the loose because they don't know where the heck he is. So that was in Texas,
Oh,
Cleveland.
was it? Of course it's
Cleveland.
I'm shocked.
Of course it was in Texas.
Might
I
as well
could
be
ask,
here.
why do you feel that way about Texas? Don't mess with Texas. But no, I only lived in Texas for 3 months the one time and 1 month the other.
Was it enough for you?
Thank you. I learned enough, I suppose.
I heard that their water, everything that's built on is very bad, like their water wells and everything.
Infrastructure?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, it's all like, done very bad, like how their town's all built up and everything, so like, in the summertime, it gets like very hot. And then, like, for, colleges, they all have to go into this one, their like, big gym or something some nights, cause it's too hot and they, I don't know, like, they're just, yeah. One of
You
my
can
friends was
also-
saying,
You can also argue Alaska's the same way. You know, each summer we have to rebuild our roads because they are so bad that they destroy themselves over the winter.
well, I think that's because of our tire things. But that's also just Alaska climate.
Well, let me breaking the spell. So breaking the spell. Notice 2006. He was a member of a foursome that included Christopher Hitchens. I didn't mean it that way. Nice try. Christopher Hitchens, who died of throat cancer. He was also with Sam Harris, one of the others, and then and Daniel Dennett, and Richard Dawkins. So those four, after 9/11, decided together that as academics, as writers, they were going to make people who believed in Islam so embarrassed. Actually, not just Islam, but all people who were fundamentalist religious believers. And then basically everybody that was religious. That was their attempt. You know, we're just going to show that anyone who believes in religion is so stupid compared to being scientific that they should be embarrassed, and that should, you know, make sure that people don't become members of religions anymore. Well, they ended up with a following of a certain group, you know, of people that liked, you know, the idea. And in fact, Richard Dawkins gave a lecture here in Alaska one summer, and I said, Donna, you know, wife, you know, I didn't call her wife.